Hey, welcome to Meiji and Poppy's Kitchen. Today we are turning a cake mix, or some cake mixes, into a fun, colorful, swirly rainbow birthday party cake for my granddaughter. This is going to be delicious, colorful, and just fun like she is. So let's get started. Okay, I'm going to start with the pink. So I'm making my 2-year-old granddaughter's birthday cake today, and she is so much fun. So I wanted to do a fun cake for her. So I asked my daughter if I could have free reign, and she said yes. So I started looking up fun cakes, and I saw this swirly, colorful one, and I thought, okay, that looks like Josie. So that's what we're going to do. So I found, where is it? Oh, I found these food colorings at the grocery store, and it's got blue, pink, green, yellow, and I thought that's so cute. I like those colors, and her little invitation kind of has the muted colors, so we're going to go with these. And then as I was looking all that up, I saw that you can make an orange flavored cake out of white cake mix, so we're going to try that, and we're just going to mix it all together. And so it's going to be like a sherbet, I think, tasting cake. It's going to have strawberry, lemon, white cake, and the orange cake kind of all mixed up together. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. This is an experiment. But I am going to start with the strawberry. So I'm just doing it like the cake mix says, except for normally when I do cake mixes, it calls for a cup of water, 3 large eggs, and a half of a cup of vegetable oil. I usually substitute the water for milk. It makes it just a little more rich. And then the half of a cup of vegetable oil, I usually put in a cup of butter. But I'm going to stick with the vegetable oil since I'm doing 3 cake mixes, and that's just a whole lot of butter. So I'm going to do the vegetable oil. Okay, so I've got the strawberry cake mix. I'm going to do it just like they say. So you add the cake mix, the vegetable oil, the milk, and the 3 eggs. Okay, and then it says you're going to blend this at medium speed for about 2 minutes, but you first do it on low for about 30 seconds unless you want cake mix in your face. So that's all of the instructions that I'm going to follow, because then we're going to do it a different way than what it says. So I'm about to do that. I'm going to mix it for about 2.5 minutes, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got the strawberry mixed, and now we're going to go to the one that I'm really excited about trying. So I was thinking about the flavors, and I thought, okay, we're going to have strawberry, we're going to have lemon, then the white cake, and I thought, ooh, orange would be good. But I didn't know if they made orange cake mix, but apparently they don't, or at least where I shopped, I went to 2 different places, and there was no orange cake mix. So I looked up, how do you make orange cake out of a white cake mix? And it says, instead of the water, you add orange soda. So I got some Fanta, gonna add orange soda, and I cannot wait. They say it's really good, so I can't wait to try this. Okay, so I've got the cake mix, white cake mix, orange soda, 3 eggs, and the half of a cup of vegetable oil. Same thing, we'll mix it on low for 30 seconds, then on medium for 2 minutes. And then the next cake mix I'm going to do, I'm just going to do the white cake mix and do it into different colors. And I forgot to tell you, most of the time that you do a sheet cake, it's a 13 by 9, but I wanted to do a bigger one, so this is 15 by 11. So that's why I'm doing 3 different cake mixes. And I don't know if I'll use all of it, but we'll see. Okay, so I'm about to mix this, and I can't wait to see if it makes it orange. If not, I might have to add a little orange food coloring. It's looking orange so far. Okay, be right back. Okay, I got that mixed, and it wasn't quite as orange as I wanted it to be, so I put a couple of drops of orange food coloring in there, and then now it's a beautiful color orange. Um, and I did lick the beater just to see, and it's not a strong orange flavor, just a slight orange flavor, but that's good because I do have so many other flavors, the strawberry and lemon and the white, so that's good maybe that it's not overpowering orange. Um, okay, now I'm going to do the white cake mix like I always do, and I have a little tip for that, so let me tell you about that. Okay, for the white cake mix that I normally make, I do a cup of milk, and then I normally do a cup of butter, but again, I'm just sticking with the half of a cup of vegetable oil and the 3 eggs like normal. The twist that I put on it is the flavorings that I put in here, and I just think it makes it so good. You don't have to do this. This is just a little over the top, but I put a little bit of vanilla. This is my homemade vanilla. I'll link the video for how to make that. Yum. And then I put in about a half of a teaspoon of butter flavoring. I got this at Hobby Lobby. It was a cake. No. Oh, I can't remember the recipe that I saw that said to do the butter in there, but I've been doing it. And it's so good. And then I put about a half of a teaspoon of almond extract. For some reason, all those together, just the flavor is just incredible. Okay, again, 30 seconds on high and then 2 minutes on medium. I've got the white mixed, and as I was thinking about what I was going to do, I still have blue, green, and yellow that I wanted to do. So then I thought, how am I going to get that all 3 out of one cake mix? So instead, what I did, and like I said, this is an experiment. So I tried to see if I could make yellow out of the orange, and I could with just some food coloring. So I'm going to put half of this orange in a bowl and mix some yellow food coloring, and that way we have yellow and orange out of the orange cake. And then I'll add a little lemon flavoring to it, and that'll be good. Lemon and orange, and if I put enough lemon flavoring, yeah, okay, good. That made yellow. Perfect. Okay, and now I'm going to add some lemon extract to this. That'll be great. Okay, problem solved. I'm excited. Okay, and then I am going to put half of the white cake mix in here. About half. It doesn't have to be perfect. And do some blue and some green just with this food coloring. We've already got the pink and the yellow. Good. Okay, so let's see, here's the green. Let's just start off with a little and see what that does. Apparently, not much. Let's do some more. There we go. Still not enough. I think I did read where it took like, it takes a whole tube for 1 box. So it would take about a half for a half of a box. And they are right. It truly is. But these are muted, more pastel-y colors. The gel food coloring that I have that I use for icing, the Wilton stuff, that would do a lot better. But here I am. This is what I've got. Okay, and this is getting to be a pretty little pastel green. Still, I want just a little more green in there. Okay, I think this is it. Okay, so that's it for my green. And I'm going to do blue for the other half. And then I'll show you, and again, I haven't done this. I just watched. Go ahead and squirt a lot in there. Just watch some videos of people doing it and just pictures. Okay, so the blue is doing a lot more blue than the green did. Okay, that's good. So not quite half of the blue. You can see that? That's pretty. Okay, then I'm going to get the pan out and show you how I think I'm going to do this. Okay, here we go. Let's see if this is going to work. It says just to kind of plop different colors down. And like you can even do colors on top of each other, just kind of. Okay, so there's a little pink. I don't know if I'm going to be using all of this or not. Here's a little green. I bet I am. Here's a little bright yellow, it turned out. That's okay. Okay, here's some orange. Oh, the green and the blue look alike. I said green earlier and it's actually blue. But now that they're beside each other, it does look, the blue looks blue. Okay, then I'm going to start over. Strawberry. Do it over here. Can't do anything neatly. All right, and then orange. I'll do right here. Put some blue in the corner. And I'll just start over. I'll just start putting it on top of each other because it's going to be all swirled together anyway. Blue. Do the bright yellow over here. Do some pink over here. Do some orange kind of in the middle. It's like an art project. Let's do some more green. Kind of do it right here. Maybe over here. I like Picasso. Alright, some more strawberry, more pink. I think that's what we've got the most of because that was a whole cake mix. And then I'll do, let's see, blue on the side right here. Finish it up. I'll finish up my bright yellow over here. I love this green. So let's put some more green. Right there. Then I'm just gonna, I don't know if I'll use all of the orange. I probably will. Let's put it right here. Right here. As you can tell, I am not a perfectionist. Because, I mean, it's not going to be perfect anyway. We're about to swirl it with a knife. Okay, that looks really cute. Then you take a knife, and the girl that I saw, oh, I've got a little bit more strawberry left. Can't waste some cake. Okay, the girl that I saw said she just does it like does four little swipes. So do this, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to do it this way. 1, 2, 3, and since I have a bigger pan, I'm doing 5. Okay, and that's all I'm going to do. And then I'm going to stick it in the oven, 350 degrees. Since this has a lot of cake mix in it, I'll probably do it for longer than what the box says, which is usually about 22 minutes. So I'll just keep watching it, and then I'll just do the toothpick test where you stick a toothpick, or this is my little tester, and it comes out with out having the wet dough on there. Okay, so I'm going to get this in the oven, and let's see how it does. So that took about 35 to 40 minutes. I did the toothpick test where I stuck it in, and there's no dough left on it, raw dough. It's just like, if there is anything, it's just like moist crumbs. So that's when you know that it's done. And I've let it sit out for a few minutes to cool before I take it out of the pan. And this is the scary part. So I'm running my knife around the edge just to get any parts that might still be sticking to the edge. Then I'm going to take the cake board that I'm going to put it on, and we're going to turn it over. And we're keeping our fingers crossed. Okay. Woo! That's the way I like it right there. Okay, and then I'm going to turn it back over. Really, I'll put the cooling rack on top of it and turn it back over and let it cool. It'll take, this is a big cake, so this is going to take a while to cool completely because you want it cooled completely before you ice it. So while it is cooling, we will make the icing. So here we go. When I started baking cakes for real a couple of years ago, I started experimenting with a few recipes to try to get the best one. And I found a Cake Boss recipe, and I've kind of tweaked it to make it my own. And this is the best icing. I love it. And I am not a big icing fan, but I am a fan of this one. I love this one. So we start off with a cup of shortening. And I always say, I know, you hear about how bad shortening is for you, but is cake good for you at all? It tastes delicious, so just go with it. All right, and then a cup of butter, which is 2 sticks of butter. We're going to mix this together first, and then we add the rest. It's hard to get off. Okay, so I'm putting it in my mixer. I mix it just until it's really well combined, less than a minute. I mean, the butter softened and the shortening is soft, so it combines very quickly. That's it right there. Okay, now the part that is not my favorite part, but I do it anyway just because it makes it so much better. I sift, so you have 2 pounds, which is a bag of confectioner's sugar. And at the beginning, I wasn't sifting it, and when I would go to decorate, sometimes it would get clogged, and you don't realize that there's little clumps in here. So it is just best to sift. If you're not decorating, don't worry about it. Like with tips, with little icing tips. But if you are, sift. So this takes a few minutes, so I'll do this. I'll just the whole bag. I take that back. Probably about half the bag, and then I add some milk to it. It says 4 to 6 tablespoons, and I just kind of do it until I get it to the consistency I want to ice the cake with. And then I take a spatula, kind of scrape the sides down, and I do more. And then probably about after two batches of sifting, I start mixing again. And when it gets too thick, that's when I start adding the milk. When it gets really, really thick and hard to mix, I start adding the milk so that you know how much to add. Again, not my favorite part, but cakes are a labor of love. So, okay, now gonna mix this starting on low, or else you're gonna have a powdered sugar face mask. And then you increase the speed and it'll start forming together. Okay. If you need to, scrape the sides down again and sift some more. Okay, now I know this is going to be really, really thick. And I've done like 4 different pours into the sifter. So I'm just going to add some milk. I'm not measuring because it does say 4 to 6 tablespoons. I've done this so much. So if you're needing to measure, 4 to 6 tablespoons. And a lot of times I add half and half instead of just milk because it makes it a little bit more rich, but I don't have any. So, and it's great with milk. Okay, I'm going to scrape down the sides again because they're getting kind of high. We're getting to the end of the bag. Hooray. Last one. Scrape down the sides, add milk, and then I'm adding some things that make it extra delicious. Hold on. Okay. I'm going to add a teaspoon of vanilla. And then here comes the magic. Again, from Hobby Lobby, the butter. Add about a teaspoon of butter extract and a teaspoon of lemon extract. And for some reason, that combination right there, it is so good. And then it says to add about 1/4 of a teaspoon of fine grained sea salt. If you just have regular salt, that's fine. And now we're gonna mix this and see what the consistency looks like. See if we need to add more milk or not. For decorating and icing it, you want it a little, I'm not going to say thin because you don't want it thin, but you want it spreadable, thin enough to be spreadable. And that's perfect. I've got it just right, the way I like it right now. Okay, so for my cake, I'm doing the 4 colors of those icings that I had: blue, pink, green, yellow, because I thought they were really cute. But I'll show you a picture of what Hannah sent me that she wants it to look like. So I'm going to cover the whole thing in white, and then I'm just doing little dots of color around. So what I'll do first is I'll ice it with the white, and then I'll split the rest that I have and make different colors out of it. So I got to let it cool down just a few more minutes, and then I'll start icing it. It's cool. The first thing I have to do now is kind of even out the top and cut the kind of crusty edges off of the side. So I just barely cut around the edge. I mean, not cutting into the cake much at all. Just getting those crusty edges off. Again, something you don't have to do. It just makes the cake look more professional. And to me, who wants to bite into that crusty edge? Okay, this is, I forgot to tell you how delicious this smelt when I got it out. And I've got a little serrated knife because that makes it a lot easier to cut. Oh, this is cute. The colors on the, look how cute that is. I can't wait to see when I cut the top off. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of just cut the parts that are puffing up more than the others. Just to kind of make it more even on the top. Okay, this is so cute. Oh, I love this. Oh, this looks so much like Josie. She's so much fun. She laughs all the time. She makes you laugh. Got this head full of curly brown hair. I mean curly. Matches her personality perfectly. Okay, our experiment went well. This is so cute. I love it. Okay, so first we're going to crumb coat the edges and the top, which I did take a little of the white and thinned it out just a little bit more for the crumb coat because it does need to be very thin. And that's just a thin layer that keeps the crumbs in so you can decorate it more professionally. Here's my offset spatula. And you just do just a very, very thin top layer. And that just makes the crumbs behave, stay in their place. Okay, so I'll do this and then I'll come back and do the edges and then I'll show you how we're going to decorate it. So I finished the top. Now I'm going to do around the sides just to get them good light coating. Doesn't take long for this because you do not have to be neat with this part. Just make sure everything gets covered. I don't know if you can see, I just put a blob kind of like on the edge of the top part of the cake and then just kind of work it down. Finish the last two sides. Hate to cover up the cute little rainbow part of it. Didn't know exactly if that was going to turn out or not, but that's fun. That's cute. I love it when a plan comes together. Okay, that part's finished. Now we're going to get to the real icing. So this is the one that I didn't thin out like I did the crumb coat icing. I have divided the rest of the icing into fourths, 4 bowls, and now we're going to color these. Again, normally I use my gel icing colors, but I'm just going to finish these, see how this goes. That way, if you decide to use that. So it's green, blue, yellow, and pink. This green is just very, very light. So I'm going to do a good bit in there. Let's see if I might need to reinforce with my gel colors. No, this is pretty. Like I said, the invitation is muted colors, so I don't want it bright. And that's actually very pretty. a very pretty, like mint green. Okay, going to keep that like that. Now next I'm picking up yellow. I'll put a good bit in there because I know that'll be very faint. Oh, I don't know. This looks pretty good. Okay, that's pretty. Like just a butter yellow. It's very pretty. I'm just going to put just a little more because it's not going to make it any more bright. It might just give it a little more butter yellow color. That's really, really pretty. I like that. Okay. Then the pink. Which I didn't even think. We didn't even use pink in the, because we did the strawberry cake mix, which was already pink. And that's really pretty too. Just like a soft pastel pink. Like it. Then finally the blue, and I remember the blue did have a good bit of color. So I'll put some in there and start small. You can't go back, but you can go forward with icings. It's so pretty. Okay. Love that. I love those. Okay, I'm so happy. This is shaping up to look like a little Josie cake. So much fun. Okay, let's get it decorated. Basically just getting the rest and doing the same thing. Getting it all covered. And the edges for this one are going to be decorated, so I'm not as concerned about the edges as I am the middle part. I'm going to try to get that smooth. If you've never decorated cake before, just do it. It's fun. Doesn't have to be perfect. Like I said, it's a labor of love. Whoever it's for will appreciate that you've made them a cake and decorated it. Who doesn't love somebody thinking about them like that? Smooth out the top. Like I said, doesn't have to be perfect. And I'm going to do the edges. Okay, have that part done. Now let's do the fun part. The colors. And Hannah did send me a picture. It's just easy. I'm using 1M tip just to make little stars around it. Just little. And I've already got the colored icings in the bag. I'm just going to start just kind of randomly placing little stars around. And we'll just fill in as we go. Okay, so yellow, now we'll do the green. There's no rhyme or reason, I'm just kind of filling in around. Okay, green. Now we'll do pink. This is the fun part. Just getting to be creative. Okay, and then the blue. Okay, that's cute. Okay, now I'm going to do just some stars around the bottom of it. Just to clean it up some. Make it look good and finished. Okay, then I'll take a little circle tip and write happy birthday, Josie, across the top. And we'll be done. And then I'll show you pictures of the inside of it. Yay! That's really cute. I hate to hold it up to show you, but it's a great little rainbow happy cake. So I hope she enjoys it. And like I said, I will post pictures of how it turns out after we cut it and everything. All right, thanks for joining us.
Happy birthday.